Queer people make history all the time, even if your teacher forgot to mention that part. Hello, and welcome to an episode of Historical Icons Who Weren't Actually Straight. Today's icon is James Baldwin! He was a civil rights era American author, writer, and playwright who illustrated the struggle of his fellow Black Americans with a unique and nuanced voice. He championed love and emotional connection as a powerful and necessary force for change. On top of all of that, he was queer! Up first, some fast facts. Baldwin was born on August 2nd, 1924, and grew up in poverty in Harlem, New York with his family. His mom, abusive stepfather, and 8 half-siblings. 8? Oof, I only have 1 and that's more than enough. His extraordinary gift for words, first shown as a 14-year-old junior minister, and with stories and plays he wrote for his high school, DeWitt Clinton. He later chronicled this period of self-exploration through religion and sexuality with his first novel, Go Tell It on the Mountain. By his mid-20s, Baldwin, fed up with America's mistreatment of Black people and wanting to see himself outside of that context, secured a writing fellowship that allowed him to move to Paris. Baldwin bloomed creatively, publishing many of his most celebrated works like Giovanni's Room and Notes of a Native Son, a powerful essay collection on racial inequality. Over time, his French Riviera home became a kind of refuge for other Black revolutionary artists. Oh, to be a fly on that wall. Baldwin was also close friends with many other influential people of the time, like Marlon Brando, Maya Angelou, and Ray Charles. In 1957, the Civil Rights Movement was in full force, and Baldwin returned to America. An incredible 1965 debate that you should definitely go watch between Baldwin and William Buckley shows Baldwin's virtuoso ability to paint in clear words the painful realities of being Black in America, saying, "It comes as a great shock to discover that the flag to which you have pledged allegiance, along with everybody else, has not pledged allegiance to you." Following the assassinations of his close friends and civil rights giants Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, Baldwin returned to France to recover from his grief. He then wrote some of his most powerful works, shining a light on Black love and humanity by telling the stories of Black families. His 1974 novel, the heartbreaking If Beale Street Could Talk, tells the story of a young Black couple whose dreams are torn apart by a false rape accusation in a racist police system. Baldwin's words contributed immensely to the movement in their own way. As he put it, "We can disagree and still love each other, unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist." Now on to the queer stuff. Baldwin dated men, but he viewed his sexual identity through a broad lens, and shouldn't we all? He chose to view and love people as themselves, resisting sexuality and gender-related labels which he saw as pointlessly shifting over time. One of Baldwin's most significant relationships was with a Swiss painter named Lucien Happersberger. They lived together for a few months in a small chalet in 1951, which honestly sounds amazing! It was there that Baldwin was able to write uninterrupted and experience a slice of domesticity with a partner for the first time in his life. Although their relationship ended and Baldwin was devastated, they remained on good terms. Never afraid to write about love in ways that were socially unacceptable for the times, in 1951, Baldwin wrote Giovanni's Room, dedicated to Lucien. Deemed very controversial, it centered around the lives of gay white characters living in Paris. Giovanni's Room came to be a success and helped make space for the representation of gay life in literature. He continued to normalize queer relationships by writing books that featured queer characters, like the bestsellers Another Country and Just Above My Head. During the years that Baldwin returned to America to participate in the civil rights movement, he was prevented at times from taking a more active role by some religious leaders and Black activists because of his sexuality, and, relative to them, more tempered views. Undeterred, he continued to write and to speak where he could, unapologetically expressing his own beliefs. Baldwin died in 1987 of stomach cancer, with Lucien at his bedside, more than 30 years after their affair. In conclusion, James Baldwin was a huge intellectual influence on the civil rights movement, wrote enduring works of literature, normalized queer characters in his writing, and had a cute artsy boyfriend. Throughout his life, Baldwin was unflinching in his belief that people who identified as LGBTQ were worthy of love and respect, despite the outright hostility he often encountered. He is now regarded as a hero to several trans activists like Janet Mock, because of his advocacy for androgyny and non-binary identities in his later writings, especially in his essays Here Be Dragons and To Crush the Serpent. His writing and message resonate with the ongoing battle for equality today. If you haven't seen Raoul Peck's documentary I Am Not Your Negro, based on Baldwin's unfinished final memoir, or Barry Jenkins' Academy Award-winning adaptation of If Beale Street Could Talk, put them on your weekend list. Thanks for watching, and check out the next episode of Historical Icons Who Weren't Actually Straight right here.